Gratitude is the highest form of giving. In fact, it's the reason we're here. It's what the Mass is all about. It's what church is all about, to be grateful to God. When we come to worship, that's what we say. Thank you. In that second reading today, we have an example of this vision of St. John of paradise, this new heaven, a new earth that is created by God. And this vision of the Lamb on the throne, who says, "Behold, I make all things new." A number of years ago, when I was the director of the worship office, this is back in the 1980s, and we had an associate in the office, a young woman who had arrived as a little girl into this country from Vietnam. In fact, her family was one of the last families out in 1973. She, and along with her mother and father and several of her siblings. And she called in one day, it was in the wintertime, and she said, "I'm going to be a little late for work today." Okay. So she ended up coming in about noon. And so I said to her, her name's Tulane Andrews. Tulane, a little short Vietnamese, and she ended up marrying this very, very tall Swede from Michigan, a blonde, blue-eyed David Andrews. And all she wanted was to have a lot of kids. She wanted 12 children. Well, she ended up with 10, so she did pretty good. Lives in Texas now. But anyway, she was coming in late that day, and when she arrived, I asked her, I said, "Well, what's the deal, Tulane? You got a sick child or something?" She said, "No, we had a flood in our apartment. One of the pipes froze." They lived in married student housing at Purdue, and there was like 2 inches of water in the apartment, so everything was like underwater. And I said, "Tulane, what are you even doing here? Why didn't you stay home and, take care of this?" She goes, "Well, after you've been through a war and you've lost most of your family, you know what's important." And I've always remembered that. You know what's important. What was important for Tulane was her family and her faith. So she ended up with 10 children, just short of her goal. What does that tell us? Well, in the context of today's gospel, it tells us something very important. It tells me something important. Today's gospel speaks of those moments, those last moments, when Jesus is with his closest disciples, he's with his apostles, he's with the 12. And Judas had just left. So now there are the 11. And when Judas leaves, he turns to the 11 and he says to them, "Now the Son of Man is glorified. This is the glory of God. So I'm going to give you a new commandment. I'm not going to be with you much longer, so I'm going to give you a new commandment." You, 11. So now this is the 11th commandment. You know the 10, now the 11th. Love one another. Take care of each other. Be with each other. And as church, we've always remembered that. And so we build these buildings from St. Peter's in Rome to right here in Carmel, Indiana. We build these buildings so that we can do exactly that. We can be together. We take care of each other. We love one another. This is how the world knows that we are disciples. This is how the world knows that Jesus is Lord. Do we need this building? No, we don't. We can be disciples of Jesus without this building, or without any buildings, for that matter. Because the church is not a building, but it is our home. Had some folks yesterday were saying, we got two little ones, two little boys, 2 and 3.5, and my wife and I, we're in and out and in and out and in and out. We don't get too much out of Mass. And I'm saying back to this guy, I'm saying, look, you're here. Your children are here. Church is their earliest memory. Now, when times are tough, where can they turn? They're thousands of miles from you. They're thousands of miles from their home, so they go to their other home, and we have branch offices everywhere, right? So you can literally return home. You go to church. You go to that place of rest. You go to that room where you can be who you're supposed to be. You can be authentic. So this new commandment is given to us, the 11. We are the ones who are left. We are the ones who are here. Love one another. Take care of each other. Now here in this parish we have, about 2,000 registered households. And of that 2,000 registered households, on a regular basis, we see about 1,000. Where are the others? Well, we see them occasionally, maybe Christmas, maybe Easter, maybe once a year, maybe every other year. They have other priorities. They're registered here for various numbers of reasons. But we don't see them very much. Why is that? It concerns me. And of that 1,000 registered households who are here on a regular basis, about half of them actually contribute their time, their talents, and their treasure. In fact, the largest group of contributors to this parish contributes nothing. It's the old 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule, I suppose. I don't know who made up that rule, but it seems to apply here as it does in many other places. Okay, so we can get angry about this and we can say, well, we got a lot of hangers-on and that sort of thing, and you got a small group of people who are supporting this other group of people. But that's not what concerns me. These are the 11. These are the ones who are left. And they're not contributing. And what that means is they are not placing their value on what is important. They have other values, maybe down at Lucas Oil, maybe going here or there or doing this or that. But it's not here. Church is kind of at the bottom of the list. And We go when it suits us. We go when it is convenient. And that basket passes us by, empty. We do not contribute. Why is that? And what does that say about me? This is really a take it or leave it thing. Church is always going to be here. I can take it when I need it and leave it when I please. Not invested. It is not part of who I am. Now, a lot of us contribute because of need. We see a need out there, we're going to contribute. Earthquake in Haiti, contribute. We got a leaky roof, which, oh, by the way, we do. Contribute. We need a new boiler. Okay, I'll contribute to that. Because there's a need. Jesus points to this widow who's dropping 2 small copper coins into the temple treasury worth about a penny. Does the temple treasury need that penny? Well, no, not really. But he points out and says, you know, she's contributed more than anyone else because she's given out of gratitude. She's given out of gratitude, not because of need. All that she has, the faith that she has. So indeed, she has contributed more than anyone else who gave from their surplus. She, out of her poverty, gave out of gratitude. Gratitude is the highest form of giving. In fact, it's the reason we're here. It's what the Mass is all about. It's what church is all about, to be grateful to God. When we come to worship, that's what we say. Thank you. I'm grateful for the gift of life, the gift of family, the gift of friends, the gift of salvation in Christ Jesus. Thank you. So I contribute. I participate. I'm involved. Why are so many others not? I'll tell you why. For the same reason today as it has always been, the attractions of the world, the isolation that we're tempted to wrap around ourselves. You can even see it today in our young people as well as our older folks. Everybody's consumed with their iPads or their iPhones or this, that, or the other device, and we're all plugged in and isolated in our lives. We are not loving one another as we should. Now, we've got this family room fund, which is really, switch those words around, it's room for the family fund. And of our 2,000 households, we've got about 600 who've participated in that. My goal is 2,000. Everyone. Oh, but Father, I can't afford it. You can't afford a penny? 2 small copper coins? Why aren't we contributing? Because we don't have any value for it. We don't see the need. There's no need here. So I'm not going to contribute because there's no need. Was there a need for St. Peter's Basilica in Rome? Hardly. But we all like to go there and look at it, don't we? Indeed, is there a need for any of this? No. Not really. We could just as easily live in a tent. But this is our home. Why am I not investing in it? I'll tell you why. Because I don't really care. Let someone else do it. I have other priorities. Oh, yeah, I do have other priorities, and it's not here. We are the 11. We are the ones who are left. We are the ones who are given this commandment, this 11th commandment. Love one another. Take care of each other. We do that by the way that we care for each other first. This is not for the world. This is not for our neighbors that we're supposed to love. This is not for the stranger or the alien. This is for us. If we do not love one another and care for each other, how are we going to care for the rest of the world? We won't. Only when we see a need. And then maybe I will decide how that works. The church gives us a law, a number of laws. One of them is to contribute to the support of the church. This is not a request, it is a demand. There is no percentage put on it other than 10. Tithe. We obey this law in this parish. 10% of every collection is given away. You know this. What about us? As individuals and as families. Within this family, what about us? Where am I with all of this? Maybe I'm waiting for someone else to step up. I don't want to be counted as the one who left. I want to be here with the 11. I want to be a contributor. I want to be part of gratitude. Not out of need, but because I'm thankful to God for the gift I've been given.